Brian's neural interface flickered with incoming diagnostic data as he guided the microsurgical probe through the Zytherian feline's spinal column. The creature, called a Velcath in the Empress's native tongue, lay suspended in the zero-gravity medical chamber, its 6 legs splayed outward, bioluminescent fur dimmed to a sickly gray. Anterior dorsal nerve cluster at 23% functionality, his AI assistant chirped through the cochlear implant. Recommend quantum suture at the C4-C5 junction. Brian had seen worse during the frontier wars. Human spines shattered by plasma rounds, limbs severed by molecular blades. He'd learned xenobiology in field hospitals across 12 systems, stitching together species the Terran Medical Council had never catalogued. A paralyzed alien cat was just another Tuesday. Except this particular cat belonged to Princess Nyla, daughter of Empress Velshara, sovereign ruler of the Zytherian collective, humanity's most powerful ally in the galactic arm. The door to his clinic hissed open. Brian didn't look up from his work, but his peripheral vision caught the shimmer of royal guard armor, crystalline exosuits that bent light around their wearers like living prisms. "Dr. Castellan," a melodic voice said. "May I observe?" Brian's hand steadied. He recognized that voice from the news feed's Princess Nyla herself, speaking flawless English with only the slightest harmonic overtone that marked her as Zytherian. "Your Highness," he replied, keeping his eyes on the holographic display showing the Velcath's neurological map. "It's a delicate procedure." "I need silence." Most royalty would have bristled. Instead, he heard the soft rustle of ceremonial robes as she took a seat in the observation alcove. Smart woman, or smart alien, the distinction mattered less these days. Brian activated the quantum suture array, a gift from a Centauri colleague who'd owed him a favor after Brian reconstructed her triplet hearts during a reactor breach. The device cost more than his entire clinic, a pinpoint singularity generator that could fuse neural tissue at the subatomic level. The Velcath's bioluminescence pulsed once, twice, then cascaded through its fur in waves of electric blue. Neural connectivity restored to 87%, his AI reported. Voluntary motor control returning to all 6 limbs. Prognosis: full recovery within 48 hours. Brian deactivated the containment field and gently lowered the creature onto the recovery platform. Its 6 legs twitched experimentally, then flexed with increasing confidence. Within seconds, it was purring a sound like wind chimes in a cathedral, and its fur blazed with healthy amber light. "Shantara," Nyla breathed, rising from her seat. The princess was tall, even for a Zytherian, her skin patterned with bioluminescent fractals that shifted with her emotions. Right now, they pulsed with what Brian's xenopsychology training identified as profound relief. "You saved him." "Standard procedure," Brian said, stripping off his surgical gloves. "Keep him in low G for another day, then gradually reintroduce normal gravity. He'll need neural therapy exercises. I'll send the protocols to your medical staff." Nyla approached the recovery platform, and the Velcath immediately nuzzled against her hand, purring louder. Her fractals brightened, shifting to warm golds and pinks. "I was told you were the only xenoveterinarian in this sector who understood Zytherian neurology," she said. "They said you learned during the war." "Field hospital on Epsilon Eridani III," Brian confirmed, already cleaning his instruments. "Treated a lot of Zytherian soldiers." "Your people's nervous systems are elegant, complex, but elegant. You saved many of our warriors." "I saved whoever came through the door. Human, Zytherian, even a few Crothans." He didn't mention the nightmares, the ones where he couldn't save them fast enough, where the wounded kept coming, and his hands kept failing. Some things you didn't share with royalty. Nyla reached into her robes and withdrew a crystalline data chip that glowed with inner light. "The Empress wishes to compensate you for your service. This authorization grants you access to royal medical research, regenerative techniques, quantum cellular therapy, technologies your human medical establishment won't develop for centuries. Additionally, a payment of 5 million galactic credits." Brian paused, mid-sterilization cycle. 5 million credits. He could upgrade his entire clinic. buy equipment that would let him save dozens more creatures, maybe finally afford the neurological treatments for the phantom pain that still ghosted through his left leg, the one he'd lost on Proxima B and replaced with a military-grade prosthetic. I can't accept that, Your Highness. The fractals on Nyla's skin flickered to confused violet. I don't understand. Is the amount insufficient? The Empress can. It's not about the amount. Brian set down his instruments and finally met her eyes, triple-pupiled, opalescent, completely alien, and yet somehow expressing the same confusion he'd seen in 1,000 human faces. I didn't heal Shentara for money. I did it because he was suffering and I could help. But your service has value. You possess rare skills. I know. Brian's voice was quiet but firm. And I charge fair rates for my work. Your regular citizens pay those rates when they bring me their companions. Why should you pay differently? Nyla was silent for a long moment, her fractals cycling through colors Brian couldn't interpret. Finally, they settled on deep blue contemplation, his training supplied. During the war, she said slowly, my brother was injured. A human medic I never learned his name worked for 16 hours straight to save him. When my mother tried to reward him, he said the same thing you just did. Her fractals shifted to warm amber. That human taught me something my tutors never could. That honor isn't about repaying debts, it's about recognizing them. She placed the data chip on Brian's desk anyway. Consider this not payment, but a gift between colleagues. Your work saves lives across species barriers. These tools will help you save more. Brian looked at the chip, then at the princess, then at Shentara, who was now attempting to climb the recovery platform's walls with 6 wobbly legs. I'll accept the research access, he said, but I'm sending the credits to the Frontier Orphan Relief Fund. War left a lot of kids without parents, human and Zytherian both. Nyla's fractals blazed golden, and if Brian didn't know better, he'd say she was smiling. Dr. Castellan, she said, my mother would very much like to meet you, but I suspect you'll refuse that too. I've got 3 more appointments this afternoon, Your Highness, and Shentara needs monitoring. As the princess and her guards departed, Brian returned to his instruments. Through the window, he could see the orbital platforms of New Geneva Station, where humans and Zytherian and a dozen other species lived and worked together, an impossible dream during the war years. Shentara purred from his recovery platform, bioluminescence returning to full strength. Some things, Brian reflected, you didn't do for payment. You did them because in a vast, complicated galaxy, small acts of healing mattered more than all the credits and technologies combined. His AI chimed, next appointment in 10 minutes, Crothian patient, presenting with respiratory distress. Brian smiled and began prepping his instruments. Just another Tuesday. The end.